Hello guys, and welcome to the Reference Point Podcast. And today we're doing a quick review of the movie Joker, Folie à Deux.
That's right, and if you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe to the OAR TV YouTube channel and hit a like on this video if you want to see more content like this. So going into this, I think we had differing opinions on the movie.
I've made it clear a couple times my thoughts on the first movie in that I always go back to this review I saw one time where somebody said, if you never swam in the ocean, even a pool is deep. And that movie got a lot of praise and Best Picture, like, ooh, look at us, we're gonna be a Best Picture for what? It was a Scorsese kind of ripoff, and it was okay at best. Like, it was a fine movie, but it was nothing insane that everyone hyped it up to be.
I appreciate the first film a lot. I think it has a lot of things to say. I do think though that a lot of heavy lifting had already been done, like Anthony said, by other films, referencing Scorsese. I think, honestly, the movie is almost a carbon copy of The King of Comedy and Taxi Driver, for instance. So, but I do appreciate what it had to do. I think the movie was truly elevated by outstanding music, outstanding cinematography, a truly Oscar-worthy performance by Joaquin Phoenix, and honestly everyone else in that film too. So I did really like it, but I do think, yeah, like I said, a little bit perhaps unoriginal. Going into this one, I was hesitant about the idea of maybe a second one, you know. We need it. I think the first one was, you know, in a vacuum, its own perfect, demonstration of a man with mental illness, and where they left off that character, I didn't necessarily see it going any further in this universe. So I was hesitant. I don't know if you were excited for a second one?
I wasn't exactly excited for it, I'm not gonna pretend like I was. And just the idea of this movie had me like, I don't know why, like I felt like they were always trying to show, look, we're so different from all the other movies, we're trying to be different, and then in the end they just ended up making a cash grab sequel like every comic book movie.
Well, to your point, I feel like they were doing everything possible not to make a comic book type of film.
They're like, no, we're different, we swear.
And that's why, like, going into this, like when they announced that it was gonna have musical elements, they were casting Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn, I was actually really excited by that idea because, you know, it's quite out of left field. And I feel like they would have only really made a second one if they truly felt like they had something good to work with. So I was open to the idea of it being a musical and exploring Joker's like fantasies through song and dance, and I felt like that was really fitting for this type of version of Joker. Unfortunately, the movie that we did end up getting didn't feel like a film with much purpose at all. And was overall quite disappointing. You hated it, I didn't hate it as much, I'm sort of still in between, but...
Yeah, this movie sucked. Everything about it didn't really work for me, and it felt like a movie, at least the first one had something to say. This movie felt like it had almost nothing to say, and what it was trying to say, it didn't do a good job. So by the end of it, I felt like they could have done something more with it, like, you know, it was quite lacking.
So I do think the movie had something to say. I think it's the execution of how they got to that point. I think even the way the film ends off, don't want to talk about spoilers maybe right this instance, but yeah, I'm open to the idea of what they did. I think the movie takes huge swings, but ultimately misses because of the way it's executed and because of the way the sequence of events play out so that you waste a lot of time. Let's talk about the musical elements for a second.
Terrible.
I think they could have limited the film to having maybe 3-4 major musical moments, but in reality, they stretch it out to the point where by the 12th time they break out into song.
And the audience is sick of it. Like,
the audience got really, really sick of it.
My audience was like, just not having it anymore. Like, you could tell, like, we're doing this again, and it's not really adding anything. It's not enhancing the story.
It feels like it's breaking the story and breaking what we truly want to see, and just padding the runtime for no reason, because the movie does feel very long. Let's talk about some positives here. I think the truly phenomenal performances in this movie are kind of getting drowned out by all the hate. Joaquin Phoenix, once again, is absolutely exceptional in this movie. I think Lady Gaga has a really, really wonderful performance too. Maybe her character, Harley Quinn, doesn't have as much to do as I wanted her to.
That's what I thought she was great in the movie. It's just her character was... I didn't really get her motivation, like what she was trying to do. It's like, it felt like a lot of stuff was left out on the cutting room floor, that they just took out a lot of her character for some reason, because we do make the runtime.
Yeah, and they shorter. We do have confirmation that they had filmed, especially the ending of the movie, certain scenes that didn't make it into the final film. You even see glimpses of them in the trailers. So yeah, I don't really know what happened there. I know Todd Phillips, the director of this film, who directed the first one.
And The Hangover 2.
And The Hangover 1, 2, and 3.
And The Hangover 2.
Doesn't have a great track record with sequels. Good first movies, but not sequels necessarily.
Classic.
Anyway, he had final cut, so Warner Brothers gave him full authorization to do what he wanted, I suppose. You know, he got final cut. They didn't test screen this movie, which is very rare for a huge blockbuster film like this. To not have test screenings is massive, and I think that's it's quite shown quite obviously.
Yeah.
Because
they maybe would have cut out a couple musical numbers with a couple of test screenings.
Yeah, and look, again, bold choices. I just think I don't know, man. There are things that I don't know what they were thinking necessarily. You know, like I don't know how they thought that people would be okay seeing what they do in this film. And again, I'm okay with it because there's huge swings. It's just like I said, the execution. So overall, my thoughts on the film, I'm still somewhat mixed. I don't think it was necessarily terrible. I think it makes some creative choices that I respect. But also some creative decisions that I genuinely disagree with, and I don't think land well for this film.
Yeah, I'd say don't go see it. Go see Transformers 1 or a better movie in theaters. Don't watch it. Even Beetlejuice was better, and like that was like fine at best. Like,
I will say
this is not a movie for me. So.
I do think you should maybe see the film, support it. It's really suffering horribly at the box office.
Yeah, it's flopping. And
the movie needed to make at least 550, 600 million, I think, to break even after marketing costs, after everything combined. This movie would be lucky if it made, I don't even know at this point.
This is the second movie that's a sequel to a 2019 $1 billion comic book movie that flops.
But this is like flopping hard. This is really not doing well. So I would say kind of support it because I think they tried to make something good here.
No, don't support it because then you're telling them they can make more garbage, and we don't want more garbage. We want good stuff. Warner Brothers, we don't want this. We didn't want it. It wasn't good. Make a good movie. I'll go watch it if it's good. It's not good.
I will say if you are gonna go see it, matinee price or Tuesday price, cheapy Tuesday.
Don't go see it.
Don't go see it, or just go see something better. I think a film like Transformers 1, another film that horribly underperformed, but that film is actually genuinely fantastic. It's actually really good. And it broke my heart to see it not make as much money as it deserved.
And he's telling you to go watch Joker, this guy.
Well, I guess Joker...
This is the real Joker here.
I guess Joker got what it deserved.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble.